Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
Don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Uh-oh, I was jamming to my own theme song. That's when you know it's good. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm feeling awfully good today. I went outside this morning, went back to the gym for the first time in over a month because I was off on vacation, and I don't do it then. And then I started, where is it? Here it is. The metabolic balance diet transformation with my coach, Miss Jane. She was on the show, and you guys. So anyway, I'm down as of last Friday, 19.6 pounds, and so excited. So today was the first day I could go back into the health club, and it was shocking, to be honest, because I sat down and put the weight where it was a month and a half ago, and I was like, did somebody glue these weights down? What's wrong with this thing? It's broke. It won't move. Then I realized, boy, that shit way too heavy. I was like, very humbling. I'll put it that way. But if you don't use it, you lose it. So anyway, use it, y'all. Get out there. Be the best you can be. Mind, body, and spirit. Your health is very important. Hey, have you guys ever heard of a thing called the 4 Directions prayer? I ran across it somewhere last month. I posted a note to check it out. It's a lot of indigenous people use it. It's built into their traditions. But their directions, I love it. Look, real quick, check it out. North, the direction of clarity and brightness. East, the direction of new beginnings and promise. South, the direction of warmth and growing. And west, the direction of the setting sun. So, and the elements are gratitude, guidance, balance, strength, and humility. Google it. Check it out. I'm just absolutely loving it. But I'm not loving the 6 degrees. It was 6 below zero this morning when I left to go to the health club. I think it may have warmed up a little to maybe 4 below zero right now here in Chicagoland. So if you are aware of these frigid temperatures, seriously, take care of your pets. And make sure your pipes and everything, just be careful, bundle up when you go out, won't you please? And then finally, up in the corner, you see that little flow code up there, you guys? Oh my goodness. Last week on Wednesday was my Mindset Revolution is my membership site now. But I'm doing a 4-part series, a webinar series. And in case your eyes are bad or you just can't see from where you're at or whatever, let me pop this up on the screen right there. See that? Scan that code with your handheld device, please, and register for this Wednesday's webinar. It's a 4-part series all about getting yourself launched. Get off that, I'm gonna come over here, off that launch pad. This is the year of Jubilee. I don't care how you believe, what you believe, but it is the year of Jubilee. It's a real thing. It's biblically based. It comes around every 25 or 50 years. Now, why is that important? Because you must expect these blessings. You must expect the increase. You must expect everything that is coming your way. Because that way you know what to do with it when it gets there. Surprise people don't know what to do with shit. They go, oh Lord, oh Jesus, oh. That's why people that win the lottery end up broke in most cases. Be expectant. Already plan what you're going to do with it. Sign a contract, create a covenant with you and your higher power. So when it all shows up, you are impeccable with your word. A little quote from the 4 Agreements this morning, y'all. So anyway, here it is. I'm going to put it into the chat, the link. Please go over. It's absolutely free. 70-some people last week. We had a fantastic time. Honestly, check my page. They're still talking about it, and we want to see you there. We'll be talking about how to elevate your potential, unlock habits for peak, not weak performance. Did you hear me? I said peak, not weak performance. Enough of this ... Morse code existence. It's enough of these shared custody agreements with your divine purpose. Get out there and do it all day, every day, and you're going to get there. I promise you that. Okay, listen, today's guest I have known since the beginning of this career of mine. I'll never forget. I met him out at CervX, and I thought it was Garth Brooks or somebody first. He was standing out because he had these little black boot things on and was tall and just looked like some kind of a country western star or something. I was like, who is that? They're like, that's Joshua Berglan. He fancies himself the world's mayor. And boy, here we are years later. And he has gone so many places. He was one of my very first guinea pig clients for coaching. And I say guinea pig because he's really one of the pioneers. I love what I do today in the realm of coaching, and I could not have gotten to where I am today if it wasn't for the man coming in here today. So listen, there's a lot that I could tell you about Joshua T. Tyler Berglan. We don't get to play the guessing game today because I already know. But I'm going to get him in here so we can just get this conversation started, you guys. Share it. Ooh, 222 of you and 2 emojis. 2222. Here we go. Listen, my boy's coming down the hallway. Put some hearts on the screen, won't you please? It's our virtual way of saying welcome. Come on in, Joshua T. Berglan. We waiting on you.
Man, you're gonna make me cry before we even start.
For what?
You have that effect on me, though.
Oh, that's what I was looking for a few minutes ago.
You have that effect on me.
Oh, you're sweet. I'm so glad you're here. I still have your poker chip you left in this house when you left that time.
Well, I haven't come back because I'm coming back to Chicago. So
I know. Are you going to see us?
why? Yeah, of course.
Y'all heard him.
I'm
right?
not coming to Chicago and not seeing Lauren Harris.
Yay!
Dr. Harris. I apologize.
Oh, you can just call me Low. I don't care. I'm not all into that. Look, you guys, I wanted to show you my breakfast today because I always do. Here's what I'll be munching on during the show. Some cucumber with goat milk cheese, and don't hate it until you try it. It's really delicious. A little bit of avocado, some mango, and a dark rye cracker with some of that goat cheese. So, how have you been?
Let's put it this way. I know what the joy and suffering is. And that is one of the greatest blessings life can give you.
Yes, it is. Can I walk you down? Can I walk you down the storyboard of today? Okay. When we met, it was at Cervex.
The very first one.
Yeah, the very first one. And we hit it off. That was my very first time speaking on a stage with other people. I had done 99 speeches by myself. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And then Manny had me come out there for number 100.
That was your first one in front of people?
Yeah, on a stage with other people. Remember Greg Reed was there, Dom Fawcett. Right. That was my first time ever sharing the stage. I had been on by myself. So it was, I was nervous. I was scared.
I would have known.
Well, I was. Here we are, years and years later. And back then, you were in San Diego, and I think, did you used to be a bartender?
No.
Oh, wait, what were you doing when I met you? Do you remember?
I had a skincare line. Or, I think I met you right after being homeless, actually. I've had, part of having dissociative identity disorder.
What is that?
Multiple personalities, essentially. Part of having that is losing a lot of time and not having a good, like being able to track memory. Oh, there's my head.
Yeah.
that screen. That's my head off. Hold on. So
pull it up.
I can pull myself in.
You can't move your chair?
No, it's stationary. It's a big chair. Here, I'll scoot over like this.
Oh, man. Sorry.
No, I want to watch you eat anyway. Okay.
Well, I'd like it up close. It feels like you're right here.
Well, part of having DID, when you're disassociating, it's hard to keep track of time and memories get really mixed around. And like when I wrote my first book, The Devil Inside Me, the only way I was able to remember certain events was because I had made notes for myself over the years. And that's how I learned how to keep track of, I would leave breadcrumbs, essentially. As crazy as that sounds, I was so worried about my double lives getting caught. And I say double lives because my double life had a double life. And I was so worried about,
So a quadruple life.
Basically. It was shady as shit is what it was.
I had one of those once.
Yeah. But I taught myself to do that. But it was so interesting that same skill set is also what set me up for success in what I do now. Because when I would hear something someone would say, and I would hear it one way, or I would hear it, and then later they would go, I didn't say that. And I'm like, wait a second. And I didn't have much to stand on because I always forgot everything anyway. So I started keeping track. And then also when I would watch the news, and I would hear reports or I'd see headlines and they would stick out to me, I would make a note. And that is why I got one of the ways that I became obsessed with media literacy and understanding. And again, we won't jump ahead. But that skill set that I taught myself in the dark shadows was actually what I used.
I used to love that show.
Huh?
Sorry, my ADHD. Dark Shadows. Back in the. Never mind. Anybody out there remember that? Put in a comment. Anyway.
But
so
okay, I don't
finish.
Okay. So anyway, I was just saying about time, but now it's interesting since the trimmers that I have now started last January, I don't disassociate anymore. And I remember when it was
that? What is the trimmer thing?
I don't know. I don't know. I have an idea, but I've been to 30, 40 doctors.
Wow.
Multiple therapists, done multiple treatments. And no one has a clue, but here's the problem. When I would show people studies and research of what I believed it was, they tried to commit me in a psych ward 3 times. And I was fortunate that I had people with me in the hospital. What?
I'm sorry. My cousin Cretus. Hi, Cretus. I haven't seen you in a month. Wait. Have I ever seen you? I'm just kidding. I miss you. Miss your face. Love you, cuz. Okay, go ahead. They were going to commit you. Why? They thought you were faking, making it up?
No, they
Charles.
They were saying that they, wanted to. There was a lot of different things that went down, essentially, but they were wanting me to sign away my rights so they could commit me. That was the first time. But then the other 2 times, it was because I was like screaming that they need to look at these studies that have been out for 40 years. And it's essentially about how man merges with technology. Because the thing that is so weird, like it's easy. So I've had some people say it's demonic, and it's like a spirit. But the thing is that I feel cell phones in my body. I can feel you eating. I can feel you eating inside my body. I can feel your computer. I can feel other people's cell phones ring and vibrate, go off.
Tucker Bearden, who is gifted with Asperger's.
I have ASD also.
So you met Tucker before, right? Did you ever meet Tucker Bearden?
I was in Vegas with Tucker. His very first outing. Yeah.
Right. Remember? And we were all hanging out. Remember? And he had an episode and everything. Remember that?
Yeah.
Because he could hear the you guys should have seen it. He said the electricity and the lights in Vegas, he must have been overloaded. Even ice in a glass jingling had him. He was like, so what about that? Do you think do you think this is something on the spectrum?
I am on the spectrum. When I was going through the process of disability, because I literally I still can't live alone. I'm doing way better than I was doing, but I can't drive myself. I can't be out in public. I can't even really be around people without pain. Now I can't hook it up now because it messes with the broadcast.
Amy Joy has one of those, a big one.
Yeah.
At her healing center.
They help me build, it's a Rife machine. They help me kind of build a force field around me, and it allows me to go out in public where the sounds don't hurt as much. And when I say it's not just feeling them, it hurts. It feels like lightning in my body when I hear microphones through speakers, and it's my own voice, like using this voice. This will cause me to tremor all day. The reason I haven't been broadcasting, it's my favorite thing to do, but it hurts me too much. I've done a couple in the last 6 months, like this last 2 weeks, but the more I talk, the harder it gets, the more I tremor. So I've been using the Rife machine. It's been the only thing that's kind of helped me build up a force field. But if I don't do that treatment a day, I'm screwed. Like it all comes back. So there's no answers. again, I have some, if I started talking about what I believe it is, not only would it scare the crap out of your audience, because I can use a lot of facts and studies and things that, and I could use words that most people wouldn't understand. And if they looked it up, they would get scared. So I want to be very responsible about how I talk about it. Because the truth is I don't have an answer. I just have a theory, but my theory is a very educated theory because I'm just so happen to be an expert in the subject. So it's kind of a weird, it's like living inside your own conspiracy theory that's not a conspiracy.
So you have that to deal with all while doing all these other things. For instance, tell everybody about how, because you had the moniker when I met you, and I remember I was like, yeah, he's nice, yeah, I like him, but I wonder if he's cray-cray. Because you're like, that's when you busted out with the world's mayor. So tell us about here, the world's, and now everybody calls you that. Talk about where that came from, what it means, and how and why have you held on to that moniker all these years that I've known you? The world's mayor, what does that stand for?
It's easy to have a nickname that's not about you. Think about what a mayor does, or what a mayor is supposed to do, not some of the shitty ones we have in our government now. But think about what a mayor is responsible for. A mayor is responsible for elevating people into their highest purpose, to position them in areas of strength, having the foresight and the vision to know how to put things together for the betterment of the people. And that has been my philosophy in everything I've ever done, except for the fact when I was a junkie and struggling with mental health and chemsex addiction and everything else. But my heart was always to elevate other people. Like the only time I was ever normal, and I was crazy, there's no doubt, but it's hard not to be when you have multiple personalities. It's just, I'm sorry, it's just not hard to be crazy that way, especially when you don't know what's real. Like imagine, like you think it's crazy for someone that is acting crazy and you can point at them and go, oh, but imagine that person inside, they don't even know who they are because they shift all the time. And every time they think they go, hey, this is who I am, they turn into something else. Like that's maddening. I got to be honest, it's maddening. And I'm just now at 45 years old, not disassociating. So I'm learning how to be sad and be heartbroken and have joy. Like, heck, I couldn't even have joy without disassociating. Anyway, so what were we talking about before
we talked about the world's mayor, but now that's
let me go back to that. Let me go back to the mayor thing.
Okay, go. And I got my next
the mayor. It's always been my mindset. And I mean, my mom used to tell people I was going to be the mayor one day because of how I acted when I was around people. But when I was in San Diego, I was walking the streets. This is the official story of it. I'll tell the short version.
Okay.
I was so grateful that I got that house because it was a miracle. It was a miracle. I didn't have credit, didn't have any money, didn't have anything. And somehow I got a place on right by the water in downtown San Diego, Little Italy. And it was it was just the whole thing. Like, oh, praise God, this is amazing. So I'm walking the streets at 5 a.m., walking to the gym, saying my gratitude out loud. And I'm like, gosh, I love this place. Like everything about it. I should just run for mayor. Just said it out loud.
That's how.
And then I said it out loud and I go, what's a mayor do? And I Googled it. I looked it up and I go, oh, I've been doing this my whole life. And so this is when I first started doing my broadcast, Morning Gratitude.
Oh, yeah.
And
Morning Gratitude with Joshua
Gratitude
Berglan.
Unfiltered. And because I wanted to do something more.
You need to bring that back.
Well, we'll see. I like to create new things, but I'll get into that later. So when that night on the show or the next broadcast I did, I just said jokingly that I was gonna run for mayor, and then it just started happening. People started calling me mayor, and then I'm like, well, crap. Well, then one of the guys that listened, he owned a big technology company, still does to this day. Still talk to him. He goes, if you're serious about this, I can help you. So we actually met. And we started having meetings about it. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. He goes, I want to hear what your goals are. And everything I talked about was like Africa, the deep South, not deep South, the global South. And talking about, it was a global mission. He goes, well, you can't be the mayor of San Diego and like want to help the world. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to do that then. So then I'm like, well, I'll just be the world's mayor then. He goes, yeah, be the world's mayor. And so then I get on my show, brought it back up. And then, it wasn't like people started calling me world's mayor. They were still calling me mayor. But I went and bought the domain. I went and bought the worldsmayor.com like that day, because I just knew there was something to that, because I kept getting visions of the United Nations and the World Economic Forum. And a lot of people didn't know this at the time, but I've been studying world leaders, and I had known that if you want to know what's really happening in the world, listen to what the world leaders say, not the news. Watch the meetings, watch Davos. If you want to know what's coming in the world, don't watch the sound bites. Don't watch the clips that say useless eaters and stuff like that. Listen to the whole thing. Read the books. When they put out an agenda, you read it. I was doing that. And so I had a good sense of what was happening in the world and where we were going and all that. And I was preparing. And long story short, the world's mayor thing never made sense to anybody. No one ever knew it was just about elevating other people. They thought it was some ego thing. In the back of my head, I'm like, you're going to see, because I believed in the visions that were put in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's been how many years later, and it's not like I'm world famous or anything, but I will tell you this, I am on the world stage. I am getting to work in Africa and the Middle East and in India. My book is being used, Media Company in a Box, in the Bridge to
It's
Media
manifesting.
It's all coming true. Like
do you remember when I said way back, you were around me when I started Bathrobe Moments?
Mm-hmm.
And you remember when I got with E360, it was beta testing. And I said, I'm going to be syndicated one day. The only question, that's not a question. I already know this. I just wonder, will I come on TV before Jimmy Fallon or after? And it was cloaked in humor, just like my male black Betty White comment. I'm trying to get to 99 or further, right? People laugh, but you're really manifesting. You can put it however you want to put it, but it has power. Every word.
Yeah, watch what you say, because it will come true.
You end up with it. I'm telling you, that's what it is.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something. I've never been a fan of driving. And one of my prayers is always, or like I would say, like, I want a driver. I want someone to drive me. I want to be able to sit in the back seat, drive, or have someone drive me. I don't want to deal with it. Well, now I literally can't drive, and I have a driver, but it didn't happen in the way that I thought. I mean,
getting that Uber and call it a day.
I am going to have a real driver that's a bodyguard too, but I didn't know it was going to happen from being disabled.
I want to ask you something though, because it's on my mind. It's running around, won't sit down. Ever since you said it. Now you mentioned, you tried to throw it out there real quick, like I wasn't gonna come back to it. You should have known when you said sex addiction. I was like, what?
Oh, chemsex. I want to be specific because it was cocaine, meth, and sex.
Oh, chemsex addicted.
Yeah, chemsex.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Don't Google that, people.
Well, I'm just saying. Some people might say, yeah. I wonder how you know, because you could just be already horny, but if you what's the line? What I mean, how do you qualify for being a sex addicted person?
Okay, this is a good time to tell a short story. I'm going to talk about my relapse.
Children, leave the room.
Yeah, leave the room. Leave the room, because this is gross. It's gross what I'm about.
Wait, I mean, that kind of gross?
You can handle it.
Okay. If I only had a quarter.
Okay, so Lauren plays. He's in my story of redemption multiple times, but this is the most amazing. Okay. This is probably the most important Lauren story I can tell in my life. And there's
this Lauren?
Yes. You're a part of this story. So I don't know. You do know this. I just don't know if you remember. So after I surrendered my life and I blazing, this trail, and I'm doing everything to heal from mental illness and the addictions and everything else. And I'd been clean and sober and living my life. And long story short, got kicked out of leadership, like this leadership course I was in, and it was emotional intelligence leadership. I got kicked out the last weekend. Got in a fight with my girlfriend at the time. You know who it is. We don't need to say it. you know exactly this time in my life. And I was heartbroken. I was devastated because I shouldn't have been kicked out. The whole thing sucked. It was awful. And I was very angry at God. I was very angry, and I said, screw it. I'm done. I am done with this. I've been trying to do the right thing. I've been busting my butt to try to please God and live the right way. And I'm still struggling financially and blah, 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 blah. And I just said, screw it. So I went back to my old ways, essentially. I was house sitting, and that was an opportunity for me to while out. Long story short, I went on a month-long meth binge, and I was basically going on this phase of going 3 days straight, you know, just up, partying, pass out, and I would wake up. Well, I'm never doing that again. And the next day start over. Well, this one particular time is day number 4. I'm up 4 days. I'm out of, I have no drugs. So I'm on an app looking for sex and drugs because I found the two at the same time. Use your imagination. And as this happens, I feel this presence drop down right beside me and says, I'm not done with you yet. I'm not done with you yet. This is going to suck, but I'm not done with you. And then I proceeded to hear this voice give me instructions. You don't get the luxury of secrets. You're going to put a spotlight on your shadow world and show people the supernatural power of truth.
Ooh,
this is how Gratitude Unfiltered was born, by the way. So I get these instructions, and it's, you know, it's intense. And I'm like, this is around the time Charlie Sheen was talking about tiger's blood. This is timestamp it, because I heard, do you want $250 million in the bank? I'm like, yeah, who wouldn't? Well, do you want to write $15 million hush payments? No. Then you're going to build your empire on truth. You're going to build such a strong foundation, no one will ever be able to take it from you. This is what I'm hearing. I've been up 4 days straight. Literally, I just drank my own urine to get high, to stay awake, to stay up long enough to find more sex. Yes. This all happened right after drinking my urine.
Is that possible?
Oh, hell yeah, it is. Don't try it. It's okay, very real. It's very real. And
okay.
I heard it from a comedian, and I'm like, in my out of my mind go, oh, I'll try that. And sure enough, wow. Okay. It was enough to keep me going. So anyway, here's what happens. After I hear all this, I'm convinced it's God. I don't go look for more drugs. I turn off my phone and I do everything I can to go to sleep. By the time I wake up, I don't know if it's a day later or what. I have no idea.
Wow.
But I get a call from someone I don't know. They give me the message that I got the day before. Day 2, another person calls. Same message. Day 3, Lauren calls. Lauren doesn't only give me the same message that I got from God and the 2 other women that had called 2 days before that I didn't know, and Lauren doesn't know them to this day, but Lauren added extra things to the message. And to go back to another time Lauren played a role, this is when he was coaching me. I never knew that my visions were real until I met Lauren.
I've got that on the tape. I remember that day like it was yesterday.
It broke me in the good way, because this whole time I thought my visions, I thought all the stuff that I was doing, I was crazy. I thought I was crazy. I thought I was batshit crazy and needed to be locked up. And even though I probably did need to be locked up, I didn't need to be locked up for the reasons I thought.
For that, right.
And that changed everything for me, because the message I got from God and the 2 women, and then Lauren, then another woman, then another woman, I got 5 messages, and Lauren was one of them. But Lauren's message tied to the very first message and tied to the message I got from God. And it was literally this solidifying thing for me to go fully all in on what I was created to do.
And you did, and you have not stopped since. I remember that day on that session. You were in that office in your house, and all those balls of yellow paper where you were trying to, we were working on a keynote, and they were everywhere, and you were finished. You said, I can't, it's not happening, blah, blah. And the download came. Tell him the problem is he needs to accept that he is a visionary of an extraordinary level.
Your gift feels like a curse until you realize it's a gift.
Alchemist 101. Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
God. I mean,
you never went back. That day you changed and have never slowed down. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. I saw you were leaned back in the chair thinking you had said it all and it was over. And then you heard that and you sat up and you looked and you said, that's it.
Because it hit me right in the spirit, and I knew it was real. And
wow.
But it took a long time to quit caring about what other people thought.
Oh,
it took a long time to realize that sometimes the journey is isolation. I struggled with isolation because I was so codependent. Breaking unhealthy habits like relationship habits, and learning to trust within instead of letting the voices of others, or including the internal voices, talk me out of doing what I knew was right. Doing the things that may have sounded crazy to other people and being willing to stand on that. Being willing to publicly make an ass of myself and fail publicly over and over and over again.
do you really? But wait,
it was
do
all.
You really see it as failing?
Oh, I mean, I've had some colossal failures, but I don't look at it like, to me, it's not
failures, but not
a bad failures,
but not mistakes.
I don't look at failure and mistakes or any of that as a bad thing at all.
Right.
I don't even look at suffering as a bad thing.
No.
But that's what I said at the very beginning.
Okay.
I know the joy of suffering. If you ask me how I'm doing, I'm in pain already. I'm in pain from this conversation. It hurts. It hurts to talk. It hurts to have a microphone. It hurts all of it. But here's the thing. I'm so freaking grateful for this opportunity. I'm so grateful that, and despite of losing so much from this, that doors open that were impossible before. And just, it's so easy to get mad at God when bad things happen, but you have no idea if you can just trust through it. You don't know what's really happening.
Right.
We get so lost in I know it's good to be present, but there's always a bigger picture at play.
Always.
We get too excited about the good things, and we get way too down about the bad. And what if I told you it was really, if we just flipped it around a little bit,
yes,
like things in our life would work out so much better?
Yes.
Because the joy of suffering is a very real thing, because
That's
once
right.
you get to that place in life, nothing can stop you.
That's right.
Nothing. And I'm living it. I know. And I'm limited.
That's when, in my opinion, when you can find that joy that you speak of, Joshua, that was brilliantly stated, that joy that is inside. That's why we're told to count it all joy, because when you do, you find that the thrust behind your soul's mission is to ease suffering every single day, wherever you find yourself. Easing suffering in this world is what it is all about.
Yes.
It's on my business card. I say, I do that. Look, it's on the back. And I do, together, let's ease as much suffering in the world as possible. And that's
I love
there
that.
to remind me. And as I give it to other people, but I put things in place to remind me, don't you dare forget what you agreed to do and why you were sent to do it.
That reminder in the back of my head every time that I get frustrated with what's happening to me physically, and I hear the words, take my life, it's yours. My life is no longer my own. Those are the words that I said when I committed my life, and I committed to change, and I committed to the path. I committed to the path I was created for. And so that meant that I signed up for all of the stuff that came with it. But I also get to know, like, I know it's cliche. I'm not an evangelist anymore. But I know this to be true. Know this to be true, that where we are weak, our creator is very strong.
Woo.
And surrendering the things that afflict us and attack us, that burden us. There's something so powerful about surrendering and saying, I trust you with this more than myself, and watching how things unfold after that. It doesn't mean you're not going to hurt. It doesn't mean you're not going to be sad. It doesn't mean any of that, but it means that you're going to get through it and the best outcome is going to happen.
Yeah.
If
You're right.
you can trust it. But if you try to keep it, let me tell you something else.
Tell me.
I'm going to share this.
Share it.
For so long, I was so scared about telling people that I had HIV. For so long, I was so scared to tell people that I had multiple sexualities. And when I say multiple sexualities, I'm saying that with my multiple personalities, they all changed. I didn't know what it was. Imagine dating me. Like one day, like, I mean, it just changed all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was very maddening for all of my exes. But like, I didn't know any
But
of
only
that.
if they lived in Texas. Sorry. I was just too juicy. I couldn't let it
all of these things that I was so afraid of being honest about, the minute I just stood on it and was honest.
But how can you be honest about something you don't yet understand?
Well, but being honest about not understanding it was what helped me get to a place of understanding. And then when the disassociation stopped, I was like, okay, now what? And the alters that I had, they didn't go away. They just kind of came and started participating together with a therapist. When I stopped disassociating, but I could still hear all the voices, through a therapist, I learned how to bring them to the front seat in the auditorium to watch me, the whole version of me. And I was doing these mental exercises of bringing every character there to realize if they work together, this is who I could become. And a big part of that was, fuck your labels. I don't need to identify myself as any of these mental illnesses, any of these sexualities. No. I just get to be me. I am Joshua. I live on a spectrum. There's not a single box you can put me in, and you can be pissed off about it, but I don't care.
I know.
I love God. God loves me. I serve God full time, and I have nothing to apologize for. My way of life may not work for someone, but I'm not trying to please you. I'm trying to please the one that created me and to fulfill what I was created for. I am 100%, 1,000% committed to my mission, and I will die doing it. I have things that if I don't know what's going to happen with my health, but I can assure you that even when I die, the World's Mayor experience, it will continue. The World's Mayor, the mission of the mayor will continue. It's already set in stone. It's already in the plan. Even if I died today, this will continue. The World's Mayor experience, the Bridge Media Empowerment Centers.
That's where I wanted to go next. The Bridge
500 locations will be built all over the world, whether I'm alive or not.
Talk about that while we have time. That's where I wanted to actually go next, to the Bridge Empowerment Centers. What's that all about, and what stage of development are we in currently with it?
Investor mode. The plan's put together, the franchise model's put together. My team is there. I've partnered with a really powerful company called Microtron AI. They are part of the Department of Defense. They specialize in defense weapons, but they also have stuff that's coming to the general public. They're my partners. Those of you who remember me walking around the Morgan Camera Shop in Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, talking about like what we were going to do there. This is it. That was 8 years ago. This is it. It's taken that long to find a team, to find people that believe me, that would like, hey, I align with your vision. I got to be honest, it took writing the books to do it. The book helped. Media Company in a Box, writing that book is what opened the door. That book is being used in high schools and universities around the world now. But the book that I wrote, The Bridge to Media Empowerment, is the curriculum for the media centers. But what these centers are, it's like a hybrid of the Boys and Girls Club, but it's a secure facility, because the idea is we want to have the youth. We have an area for the youth. We want them to feel safe. We want them to feel safe so they can create products that are true to them. But at the same time, it's designed that if they feel safe, that we're going to find out if they're being abused or molested or, being bullied, because we have resources in place that are going to come, that will be a part of this to help the child, to help the kid rehabilitate, to heal, to get the right services they need, and so on. Because it's a lot easier to heal a kid than it is a grown-ass man.
Ooh.
I know that from my own life.
Okay.
So that's the first part. But also because my heart is for the underserved. The underserved are ex-convicts. They're former trafficking victims.
Mm-hmm.
They are people that are mentally ill, that are on the spectrum, that come from, areas where there's gentrification and redlining. There's the refugees, even. So I recognize that that is a mix of people that you also need to have a secure area for, because we want everyone to feel safe. We are going to have hardcore rules because we're not going to allow people to get out of hand. We're here to help people rehabilitate. So the idea behind this is not just a safe and secure facility, but the part that's not like the Boys and Girls Club is the media literacy aspect. Every single job in the world, no matter what you call it, moving in the fourth industrial revolution, will be a media job. You will not survive as a business without being media literate. Lauren is media literate. He understands how to use most of the media tools. I don't know how you are in VR yet, but that's a media outlet. This is the future. And so what I was talking about the United Nations and the World Economic Forum and all that. Yeah. Well, if anyone read Agenda 2030, and none of you did, I'm pretty sure you didn't, because most people wouldn't. I did. My books are, and the research that is in the books, that is listed in the books, all have the studies and the research to back up everything I'm saying right now. I know for a fact what I'm saying is true. And I back it all up. I'm not even messing around. I wouldn't be taught. I wouldn't be a part of the organizations I'm a part of if I was full of crap.
Right.
I'm connected to the World Economic Forum and the United Nations. So I'm not messing around when I say this. All of you in America, especially because America is further behind than any nation on the planet than media literacy. The media illiteracy is almost disgusting. And media literacy is not just deciphering between real and fake news. Media literacy is also understanding how to use the media tools available to monetize your gifts, talents, and intellectual property. And also, moving forward, intellectual property and data is basically your currency moving forward.
Wait, are you saying there's something more than Facebook ads?
Yeah. In fact,
what do you say?
You're kidding. Putting your premium content on social media. You do not own it. You do not own your intellectual property there. You lose the value of it. The premium value you lose when you put it on social media. Social media.
Where should we put it?
On your own website. Every single person should have a web platform. Websites matter now.
Yeah, they do.
Haven't mattered in a long time. Websites are that's your digital real estate to build off of. If you've noticed, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, all these they keep adding new features to the platform. Do you know why? Because they want to keep you there as long as possible. The longer you're there, the more data they can collect. Well, here's the thing. Everyone should be building a platform that no one wants to leave. They're giving you the blueprint of the future. All media is merging. And I've been saying this for 10 years. It just all media, movies, TV, podcasts, all of it's merging into one thing. Education, entertainment, merging into one thing. If you're a teacher, if you're somebody that likes to educate, your time is now, because the future is set up for storytelling and teaching. Why? It's to teach this next generation. It's to educate them on how and help them build the world that we wanted to live in. We're here to build the world, the new world for them. And it's going to come through education, but our platforms matter. Why? Because there's another step, and you're already doing it with your membership site. It's about community. We are going into a world where there's no more global mega fame, Tom Cruise, 500 million followers. Those days are over, especially with what's about to start taking place, what you're going to see is community leaders. Lauren is going to be a leader of a community. And to his community, whether it's 1 million people, whether it's 500,000, whether it's 10,000, or if it's 100 or 10, you'll have more than 10. I'm just saying, the people that are willing to step up and teach and educate, you're going to be like a tribal leader. The world is going tribal. It's community-based, both digitally and in real life. And I'm going to prove it with the real life thing. We're moving into a world of smart cities. Don't think for a second, like those of you that thought Trump was going to stop smart cities, and he calls them freedom cities, and it's the same exact thing. If you thought Agenda 2030 was stopping because Trump is in office, you're kidding yourself and you're ignorant because you don't know the language. I know the language. Smart cities are coming. Like it's so easy to learn this stuff, and it's taking place now.
Look, I know you're telling the truth because listen, for somebody who started Bathrobe Moments in the driveway, walking around, remember them days? I was bringing people in on my phone and they were like, back off. We can look up your nose and stop walking. We're getting sick. Right.
Come a long way.
To come this far where they're putting, this new thing is 177 million homes between Pluto and Tubi. And I mean, so you're absolutely right. But you have to be consistent and you got to stand behind what you say what you mean and mean what you say, and know the power that comes with the definition behind your intention. Know the definitions behind all of your intentions, because if you don't, there will be hell to pay, literally. So I want to ask you something before we get out of here. We got about 4 minutes left.
This goes by so fast with you.
I know, Joshua. You were one of the MCs at the very first Power of We Symposium here in Chicago.
Can I say something real quick? Go ahead and say what you're going to say, but I need time to say something about that event.
Okay, I was just going to say, that's why I'm going to toss it back over you. I wondered if you had any memories. We've come so far since then.
Yeah.
Gone abroad, went to Romania with it. And
okay, so my vision, I've had this vision for what I was going to do with the media centers forever, but I didn't know who it was for. It was just a vision that I had, and I wanted to help people, and like that was what it was. But the defining moment came from the Power of We in Chicago. Because without that event, without getting to hear what inner city kids go through to get to school,
right?
I didn't even like school. I'm like, I don't want to go. But I know for a fact that if I had to do all that to get an education, I wouldn't go.
I know, that's right.
And so I'm hearing this, hearing the kids and hearing what the kids are saying about even in their own community, holding them down. Without that event and hearing those stories, and that was the beginning of learning about gentrification and redlining. And of course, it took another step living in Minnesota and being in Minnesota when George Floyd was murdered, and then being there for the riots.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that education.
I was on the phone with you, and it was happening right out the window, the rioting and stuff. I remember that.
The two events just so happened to be in states and cities right next to each other. Like, absolutely were defining in everything I do. They became more underserved and voiceless with George Floyd, because that's when I really got an education on redlining and gentrification. But the inner city kids in Chicago changed my heart forever. I'm so grateful for that event. I was actually talking to an economic development person in Illinois. They're about 4 hours from where you are. I talked to her yesterday. She has my books because we're going to start teaching. We're working on a deal for me to come there and start implementing the Media Company in a Box program to teach their community so they can create jobs and revenue opportunities for themselves.
I'm so
proud. Economic development and community building is the core principles behind what I'm doing. But Power of We needs to be all over the world. It needs to be a world tour. It is such an important event for inner city youth, for the youth period, but also it's a very important event for adults to see that have been blinded from a world they don't understand.
I agree.
It is heart-changing and life-changing, and God bless you for keeping that event going, because it matters. It matters a lot.
Thank you, Joshua. You guys, listen, there is so much more to today's guest, Joshua Tyler Berglan. There's so much more. Head over. It is scrolling, and it's also right there where his name is, right beneath his face. JoshuaTBerglan.com is where you want to go. Lock it in, load it in, and do something with it. And Joshua, I just want to say from me to you, and Brian says hello. He said, make
Hi,
sure.
Dr. Brian.
He told me to make sure I told you that.
Mm-hmm.
And just when you come, we miss your face. And I have been watching from afar all the time. And, you know, when Spirit tells me to check in with you, I check in with you.
You do it.
I do, right. And I'm just so proud of you, because I'll never forget that day when God said, just tell him the issue is he needs to accept that he is one of my greatest visionaries. And I remember, and then the moment you heard it, everything around you changed. And I have not seen you slow down since. So good for you. Good for you. Good for
Thank you. Real quick, if you go to the website under
Yeah.
bookshelf, you'll see, click bookshelf, you'll see Media Company in a Box. It's the second book. You can get free access to the book on that link.
Oh,
And that is available to anyone. It is there. It's a resource.
okay.
It's important. And I'm telling you right now, it will prepare you for the next 10 years at least. Because I said that for a reason. Y'all aren't prepared. Y'all aren't prepared. And I know it for a fact, because I can see it in your Facebook post and your other social media post. I know you're not ready.
Mhm.
Read that book. It's free. It's my gift to you. And
I'm
it
gonna
will
go get it right
change
now.
your life. Everyone who's read it and applies it knows what I'm talking about.
Got it. Okay, you got it. There's a gift. It doesn't get any better. Listen,
Love you,
thank
man.
you, Joshua, and thank all of you. Now, listen, get out of here. Go and find that E and that R. That's all you need to take great to greater, bright to brighter, strong to stronger, and my personal favorite, nice to nicer. Listen, I'm Dr. Lauren. I promise to meet you over on the front porch again tomorrow morning, God willing, so that you and I can have another illuminated conversation. Now, don't you dare let that screen door slam on the way out. And remember, Dr. Lauren loves you, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Okay? Joshua, I love you too, man. Great job. Miss your face. Let me know when you're in Chicago.
I will.
All right? All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Get out and be the difference you want to see. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Ah.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign.